Not all urban legends are just spooky stories, some are chillingly real. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, Caliph. You're telling me there's actually a guy with a hook for a hand waiting for teenagers at Lover's Lane? Well, maybe not that guy specifically, but the core ideas behind these campfire tales? The things that make you check under your bed or look over your shoulder at night? A surprising number of them have roots in actual documented events. These aren't just stories whispered in the dark, they're echoes of real tragedies, bizarre crimes, strange occurrences that have been twisted and retold over time, until the truth becomes hard to separate from the fiction. We're going to dive deep into some of the most famous urban legends, peel back the layers of myth to find the unsettling kernel of truth at the center. We'll look at everything from the classic body under the bed to the mysterious Polybius arcade game. It's a wild ride through history, crime, the downright weird, proving that sometimes the most terrifying monsters are just people. It's a delightful romp, really. A fun, lighthearted journey into the darkest corners of human experience. You're welcome. So buckle up because things are about to get weirdly factual. We're going to explore the cases that launched these legends into our collective nightmares. As we go through these, I want to know what you've heard. Have any of these tales ever made you double-check your locks? Let me know down in the comments because I'm dying to know how far these legends have traveled. Let's get into it. Alright, let's start with a classic that's guaranteed to make you think twice before flopping down on that hotel bed. The legend of the body under the bed. The story usually goes something like this. A couple checks into a hotel, they notice a foul smell, they brush it off as bad plumbing or old carpet. They spend the night, maybe even a few nights, complaining about the stench. Eventually a maid or authorities discover a decomposing body hidden inside the box spring or under the bed frame. It's a grim, disgusting thought, right? A real vacation ruiner. This one is horrifyingly true. It's happened more than once. Las Vegas, Atlantic City, Kansas City, Florida, California. You name a place with a motel, and there's a good chance a similar story has played out. One of the most famous cases happened in 1999 in Atlantic City. A couple spent the night complaining about a terrible odor. The next day, cleaning staff found the body of a man who'd been stabbed and hidden under their bed. They had literally slept on top of a murder victim. Think about that for a second. The sheer proximity, the mundane act of checking into a room, throwing your luggage down, maybe having a little nap, all while a gruesome secret is just inches below you. It plays on our vulnerability when we're traveling, in a space that isn't our own. It's not a ghost or a monster. It's the chilling reality of human violence intersecting with everyday life. So next time you check into a hotel, maybe, just maybe, take a quick peek under the bed. Here's another one that hits close to home, because for many of us, our car is like a personal fortress. The legend of the killer in the back seat. You've probably heard it. A woman is driving alone at night. A car behind her starts flashing its high beams, tailgating her aggressively. She gets terrified, thinking she's being harassed by a maniac. She speeds up, trying to get away, but the car stays right on her tail, flashing its lights over and over. Finally, she pulls into a gas station, and the other driver jumps out shouting, "Lock your doors! There's a man in your back seat with a knife!" The flashing lights, it turns out, were a warning. Every time the killer in the back seat sat up to attack her, the driver behind would flash his high beams, causing the attacker to duck back down. The exact scenario is likely an embellishment, but the core premise, an attacker hiding in someone's car, is unfortunately real. Ah, Halloween. A time for spooky costumes, fun decorations, and of course, candy. But for decades, a dark cloud has hung over the tradition of trick-or-treating. The fear of poisoned candy. The legend is that sadistic strangers hide razor blades in apples or poison in chocolate bars. For years, parents were warned. Many hospitals even offered to X-ray Halloween hauls. It became a full-blown panic. But most safety experts will tell you that widespread, random candy tampering is largely a myth. Largely a myth, but not entirely. While random poisoning is exceptionally rare, there have been documented cases. The problem is, the truth is often more tragic and less random than the legend suggests. In almost every confirmed case of a child harmed by tainted candy, the perpetrator wasn't a faceless stranger, but someone the child knew. A family member or neighbor with motive. There have been isolated incidents of needles or pins in candy, but many turned out to be pranks or attention-seeking acts. Often the danger is targeted, not random. The myth is a convenient boogeyman. We'll touch on this again later with a much more specific case. Let's take a trip back to the 1980s, the golden age of arcades. The air is thick with popcorn and 8-bit theme songs, and in a few select arcades in the suburbs of Portland, Oregon, a new mysterious game appears. It's called Polybius. The legend says this game was incredibly addictive, causing players to experience intense psychoactive effects: amnesia, insomnia, night terrors, extreme stress. And then, men in black suits would periodically visit the arcades to collect data from the machines. The story claims it was a government psychological experiment. Cold War paranoia fits. But what is true? The FBI did, in fact, monitor arcades in the 1980s, investigating suspected gambling rings and hacked machines. Hackers were using kits to make machines give free credits, so agents poking around arcades is true. Some early vector graphics games, like Tempest, could trigger photosensitive seizures. Disorientation, nausea, and seizures did occur for sensitive players. Polybius may be a creepypasta, but it likely grew from real events. Agents in arcades plus problematic game visuals. Some legends are tied to a specific place. In Fairfax County, Virginia, that place is the Colchester Overpass, Bunnyman Bridge. Legend tells of an escaped patient from a nearby asylum in the early 1900s. The only evidence found was half-eaten, mutilated rabbits hanging from trees. They say his spirit, or perhaps the man himself, haunts the area, dressed in a rabbit costume, attacking people with an axe or hatchet. But the historical record shows no asylum escape from that era. Case closed? Not so fast. In 1970, there were documented incidents. A couple was parked in a car when a man in a bunny suit smashed their window with a hatchet, screaming about trespassing. 10 days later, a security guard encountered a man in a bunny costume chopping at a porch post with an axe. Police investigated but never caught him. The supernatural asylum backstory is fiction, but the bizarre crime spree is real. In western Pennsylvania, there's a legend parents told their kids to keep them from staying out too late. The story of the Green Man, Charlie No-Face. They said he was a monster who roamed country roads at night with skin glowing a sickly green. But the Green Man was a real person. His name was Raymond Robinson. When he was 8 in 1919, he was severely injured while climbing a railroad bridge. He was electrocuted by a high-tension power line and not expected to survive. He did survive, but was horrifically disfigured. He lost his eyes, nose, one ear, and arm. His skin was scarred with a greenish-pale hue from infections. Ostracized, Raymond stayed inside by day and walked late at night along State Route 351. Locals drove out hoping to glimpse him. Curiosity and cruelty turned a tragic man into a boogeyman. He was known to be kind, to share a beer for conversation. The monster was a man trying to live after tragedy. The Green Man story isn't scary because of a monster. It's heartbreaking because of how we treat those who are different. Have you checked the children? It's one of the most iconic lines in horror, from the urban legend turned movie, When a Stranger Calls. The story is a babysitter's worst nightmare. Phone calls asking, "Have you checked the children?" That escalate until the police trace them and say, "It's coming from inside the house." Like many horror stories, it's grounded in a real, slightly different event. The 1950 murder of Jeanette Chrisman, a 13-year-old babysitter in Columbia, Missouri. She was babysitting when she was attacked and murdered. Investigators found signs of a struggle and the phone receiver off its cradle. The line was open. Investigators theorized Jeanette may have been on the phone trying to call for help when her attacker, already inside the house, cornered her. There were no taunting calls, but the terror of a home violated is real. Over the years, other crimes have reinforced the fear. Intruders hiding in attics, closets, and crawl spaces, turning victims' homes into traps. The phone call flourish is dramatic but rooted in reality. This one is a bit more obscure but a fantastic piece of folklore. The choking Doberman. A couple comes home to find their Doberman choking and gagging. They panic, rush him to the vet, who says he needs an emergency tracheotomy. A few minutes later, the vet calls, "Get out of the house right now! The police are on their way!" Outside, police find a burglar passed out in a closet, missing 3 fingers. The vet found 3 human fingers lodged in the dog's throat. Is the exact dramatic version true? Unlikely, it's perfectly constructed. But pets alerting and injuring themselves protecting families is common and well documented. Countless news stories show dogs and other pets warning families of intruders, fires, and medical emergencies. The legend amplifies a very real pattern. This legend is more modern, born from strange corners of the internet, the black-eyed children. A person alone, in a car or at home, hears a knock. 1 or 2 kids ask to use your phone to come inside, speaking in monotone, adult-like voices. The victims feel overwhelming dread. Then they notice, the kid's eyes are completely black. Origin traced to a 1996 post by Texas journalist Brian Bethel. Since then, thousands have reported similar encounters. Are these paranormal? Shared delusion? Creepypasta becoming modern folklore? There's no physical evidence, only consistent, unnerving accounts. The children vanish when the terrified person leaves or slams the door. The consistency of stories makes the legend uniquely chilling. We talked earlier about the poisoned candy myth, now the case that cemented that fear. Ronald Clark O'Brien, the Candyman. O'Brien was a church deacon from Pasadena, Texas. On Halloween night 1974, he took his 2 children trick-or-treating, then ran ahead to a darkened house and returned with 5 giant pixie sticks. He gave one to his son Timothy, one to his daughter Elizabeth, and others to nearby kids. Timothy complained it tasted bitter. The father gave him Kool-Aid. Timothy convulsed and died en route to hospital. Cause: cyanide. Police found O'Brien had laced the pixie sticks with cyanide. He was deep in debt and had large life insurance policies on his children. He was convicted and executed. The horror: a father turned the Halloween myth into real targeted murder, far worse than